Hi, it's Joy, and today we're watching Superman and Lois, Season 2, Episode 9, 30 Days and 30 Nights, which means we're in for a lot of rain, I think. Maybe metaphorically. I love this show so much. I'm very excited to watch it. If you're watching this on YouTube, then you can find the unedited version of this reaction and all of my reactions to this show on my Patreon, and I'm currently 1 month ahead, so Season 3, Episode 9 has just gone up unedited on Patreon for you. If you're on Patreon, then this is the episode that's up. Thank you so much. Let's go. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's go.
I knew Lucy would come through.
We fixed that thing's suit, too. But we need to hurry. We don't have much time.
We fixed that thing's suit, too. Oh, because they can use the suit to go through?
You'll find Anderson, right? You'll save him?
Soon I'll be able to save everyone.
Why do you think she's going to save Anderson? He stole from her. You're an idiot. Too late, the DoD were really lax in notifying anybody.
Not even you can make it through. Not in that.
Could John Henry and Natalie build him something? What are you planning, Clark? What the fuck? Clark, what on earth were you thinking? How long has it been? God, 30 days and 30 nights? She is Sarah Cortez now. Because his dad's missing, he's throwing himself into that. It was a real dumb decision. Oh, fuck Clark to do what he did. Oh, 30 days and 30 nights indeed.
Let me just try another batch.
Hey, no, we're gonna be late. Let me just wash up real quick and we'll head over.
It's a big day.
She wants it to be special for you.
Open. Any of you who would
Whoa,
like some
already?
exercise, I'd love it if you would hit.
Seems like a really big story.
Yeah, I think so. Well.
And yet again, it's going to pan out into nothing.
Thanking everyone.
Sorry, what?
We're getting the football season canceled.
He's a child. Back off.
This is the last time.
This isn't the time, Barb.
I'm sorry, Lois. Let's go door to door.
He's a child. Like, yeah, obviously you can be furious. Talk to the school board about it. You know, say our kids will come in for regular drug testing. Do I suppose have to forfeit all the points? There's no point. That was the whole thing, wasn't it? Because there's proof that drugged up kids were playing for them. I get the feeling of being angry and being so infuriated that somebody else's child's choice ruined your kid's chances and your kid's experience of life. That sucks. But it's also a lesson in life to your kid that sometimes that's gonna happen. You know, you're gonna have to just figure out a way to deal with it. Somehow, like, I don't know, if it messed up any scholarships, they're the kids I really feel bad for because, you know, they didn't do anything wrong, but he wasn't the only one taking it. He also wasn't the one redoing it. But you don't accost a child in a public place. That doesn't help anybody.
Jordan, is everything okay? It's just, you know, since I've been talking to Aubrey a little bit more, you've kind of seemed distant.
Yeah, 1041, code 2, highway 14.
Oh.
Hello?
Sweetheart, you were not prepared to deal with any of
So
this.
sorry. Leaving already? Yeah. Yeah.
Tell them about it. He's the one that can do something. Jordan doesn't. Jordan, if he goes by himself, that's so reckless. You do.
Attack the Delta side, I got this.
They better not have, because Jordan's been distant. Sarah's gonna get closer to Aubrey. Like, just don't cheat on him. Break up with him if you have to. That's fine. It'll be very sad for Jordan to have his heart broken. That's fine, though. Don't cheat on him.
It's crazy. I think I need some air.
He's being polite with a woman. I mean, I understand all sorts of messed up feelings with her dead mother and the idea of him moving on. He was just smuggling with someone. Oh dear. Just a kid in a hoodie, sweetheart. You're very brave, but also very stupid, sweetheart. You would know when. I mean, I know that's kind of how Clark started off, but
Go! Now!
the problem is that you saw him after you saw what was happening. You should have told him.
Did you not see my dad blatantly flirting with your married mom?
I mean, he was just smiling to her.
Well,
Today's the day my mom died.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
I'm
explains
so
it.
sorry.
And
I
that
had no
explains the
idea.
waffles as
Oh, could
well.
maybe we could do something.
Like what?
Just don't ask for a picture.
Sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to
I'm
be-
sorry. I
Yeah.
need to find my dad.
Nah,
Exactly
yeah,
why
I'm
this is
sorry.
so awkward.
Okay.
Help with anything?
Time is better spent with your mom, Mia. I'll see you later tonight, okay?
If your mental health's not good, you need to look after that. Your kids do need you. Shitty husband as
Yo,
you
what happened
are.
to you? It was flu. What? You flew? No way.
Was that his? Oh my god! It literally only just occurred. I didn't even notice that was his first time flying. In my head, I was just like, "Yeah, he flies all the time," but he doesn't. He just runs super fast. That okay? That was a significant moment. I see now. I'm glad that was why he was smiling, but also at the same time, sweetheart, very risky and silly what you just did.
I'm not very far, and I'm really sorry about what happened at the auditorium. It's whatever. Maybe I deserved it.
It will surely happen like
So-
when people
No,
come into
there's
the
no
shops
way
and
you would
stuff.
still be mad. You're working overtime at the store. You're doing online class. Jordan, none of that matters. None of it.
Dad's
okay?
not here to see it.
I don't know how to fix things with Dad, and I don't even know if I'll ever get the chance to.
You know how much he loved you,
I gotta finish this up.
and still always will.
You know, she's been awful morning ever since breakfast.
Think of the date.
The waffles.
Mm-hmm.
Today's the day Nat's mom died.
I am someone like my mum remembers the exact dates my grandparents died. Like she can't like when they come up on the calendar. I am the complete opposite. Like my brain is like that is horrible information. I don't want to know it. Like it kind of I know the time of year it happened because obviously it happened and it was devastating to me. But I do not hold on to those dates. I don't know them. The only reason I know the day my granddad died is because it was also my father's birthday and I could not remember that. Whereas like their birthdays, those memories are seared into my brain. So I kind of feel like there's a chance in this situation I might forget, though I would know it was coming up. So I'd be like, oh, she's acting weird. Is it that day? But I don't think it means he doesn't care that he doesn't necessarily remember what the day was. I also just think he could be busy. But sometimes it's kind of as a coping mechanism. That was not a good day. You don't want it to be like seared into your brain.
And I
So what? I couldn't just let him die.
If John Henry hadn't shown up, it could have been you
Mhm.
who died.
John Henry was late. He didn't save Sarah's dad. I did.
You are not a
If
superhero.
you
Jordan,
turned
you're a
around to
kid.
him and
Dad's
said,
And no one knows if he's coming
sweetheart,
back.
I know you're going through a lot.
I know.
You could have
This
told
is
John
really
Henry
what's
what was
really hard for
happening.
me, too.
That's exactly why it's the right time.
You are
My
like
granddad's been
15
training.
years
He
old.
has been what?
Oh,
Need my
Jordan,
help.
out we
That is
go
not
with
up
it.
to you to decide.
Well, I don't need your permission.
Under my roof? Yes, you do.
Not when
Sorry.
I'm the one with superpowers.
Fuck. Just the fact that Jonathan was like, it's real bad when you're on mum and dad's bad side, you know. I'd really do anything to not be on it. And Jordan was like, okay, time to get on mum's bad side. I'm gonna be a brat. Like, I get where he's coming from. Like, obviously, like, technically, yeah, she cannot physically stop him. But also as a child who has parents that love them and that you know are not setting unreasonable boundaries, you do need to kind of respect those while you're living in their house, at least until you're 18. And so that is kind of just like, fuck you, mum. I don't think you matter. Like, again, I'm not hating on Jordan. He is a 15-year-old boy who thinks he knows how the world works, thinks he's doing the right thing, and he's not totally wrong. He did help today. Even had he given John Henry the heads up, he still would have had to run home for the suit and then fly there, whereas he could just run there super fast. But going in alone without backup, without anyone knowing where you're going and that you're there, that is the last thing you should be doing, especially when you have such a supportive network around you. It's not like there is nobody else that knows about him or nobody else that could help him. It was beyond reckless, it was beyond stupid, and I know he's a child who is going through a lot because his dad's not there, and I think if his dad was here that would have been dealt with even before I was aware of it. And I know he's going through a lot, but he's behaving like a little brat, and their grandfather has not fucking helped matters by training him secretly and encouraging him to keep secrets from his parents. If I was Lois, I would be like, okay, look, I need you for your contacts with the DoD to help with Superman stuff. That is it. You are not the grandfather to my children. You do not get to see them. This is like, you have done so many things wrong, and you actively encouraged my children, because they both knew about it, to lie to my face and to do something you knew I did not want them to do. Grandfather privilege cut. Like, supervised visits if the kids want them. Like, who I'd be mad. But it is just so funny because Jonathan's like, it's just so bad when they're mad at you and I hate it. And Jordan was like, I'm gonna make her so mad at me. And it's because he doesn't feel understood.
Guess I just wanted to forget that day.
It's not okay. You don't get to just eternally sunshine Mom's memory.
That
No, seriously.
I'm trying to move on.
I mean, again, this is a hard topic to deal with. Like, I don't think it's eternally sunshining the memory, which I think is that movie where you forget things. Like, and him saying, I'm trying to move on. Like, he is. You remember the person you lost every day you feel their loss. Every time something comes on that reminds you of something with them, every time you eat a food they liked, you hear a song they liked, you go drive past the place you once went to with them. There are 1,000 bajillion million ways that you remember the person you loved. And sometimes that is a feeling of happiness and I love them so much. And sometimes, a lot of the time, that is a feeling of, oh my fucking god, I miss them. And it catches you off guard. It doesn't have to be the saddest day of their life. It can, the day that ended their life. It can be every single other day. I don't blame Natalie for feeling this day, and I even don't particularly blame her for lashing out with her father, given that she's a kid and she's grieving. But like, it doesn't mean you don't care about them and that you want to forget them if you try and forget the worst day, because that terrible day does not define them. That terrible day is the last day of their life, and you can remember every single other day far more brightly. Though I suppose, at least in this case, her last day was a day where she went out doing something that made her who she was. But I don't think the answer of I'm moving on is quite the right thing either.
So we just forget about it. We're the only ones who know that our Lois Lane existed.
I know, my love. And what I think he needs to get home is he's not gonna, for his grief process, it's not healthy to fixate on her death. He's gonna remember her life. So yeah, this day is not a day he's gonna want to remember the day of, though I think after this year he's not gonna be able to forget it. Like, it's not gonna be a date that he's gonna want to look at in the calendar and think, oh god, that month's coming, because it can become that. It can become that with every single time you turn over your calendar, you're thinking, next month's the month, oh, it's tomorrow, you know, all that kind of the date. It can be something that you can't escape, like what she's experiencing right now. But if you can escape that, it doesn't mean you're forgetting the person, it just means you're focusing more on the positive aspects of their life and your love for them, which includes all the grief you feel for them. So I don't think he's handling this well with his word choices. But it is true that it isn't healthy to totally dwell on the fact that someone died. Now, obviously, on the day itself, I don't blame her for wanting to at the same time. Like, grief is tricky and everyone handles it differently.
Yeah, I want to be able to enjoy this life we have together.
This life we have, it's because of her.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want a dad who would ever forget that.
He isn't. That was dodgy writing, or just John Henry's a bit of an idiot. So I'm gonna go with John Henry's a bit of an idiot because I love this show. Because, like, that, I get where he's coming from, but you don't just say to your kid, I'm moving on. I want to enjoy my life. Fuck you, mum. You can think that. That is actually I mean, it doesn't mean you don't love the person. There are often that is how you have to move on because the world keeps turning, and if you spend your entire life grieving over somebody, then you're never going to enjoy your life, etc. But I think the important thing to note is when someone has touched your life as deeply as someone you love, like your mother and your wife that you loved, the grief is always going to be there. It just kind of changes shape. I feel like it kind of almost fizzles into you and just becomes a part of you. It becomes a part of how you breathe. It's always with you, and some days it hurts more than others, some days it's more present than others, but it's never not there. Just like the love for them has always been that integral part of you. So coming at her with, well, I'm just moving on because I want to live and enjoy my life, wasn't really the best way of articulating what you're thinking, and I don't blame her for storming off. She is worried about his mental health.
Sarah.
But the headliner, everything we need to make Abuelitas Chilaquiles. It's an assembly of
Girl.
murder.
She has every right to be so mad at him, and he does not want her to see this place. This is a miserable divorced dad bachelor pad. This is also very much a I am punishing myself, which isn't a healthy mindset to be in. I get it, because he fucked up, and he fucked up his own life, and he's just drowning in that kind of self-pity, but that isn't a great look. Again, if it's mental health, I mean, he needs to talk to someone about it. Like, Yeah, you fucked up. Own it. I mean, when I say own it, I don't mean like be proud of it. I mean like accept it. Keep trying to make up for it. Keep trying to be the best possible dad for your daughters to remind her of just what she loved about you.
This is just temporary, you know?
I think realistically, he's either going to get back with his with the family, which is what he wants, or he needs to find an affordable place that has at least a bedroom the girls can have when they stay over.
My son to be a weapon. What were you thinking, Dad?
He's one of the most powerful beings on Earth.
So he's a
One that
child.
needs guidance. I wasn't sending him out on missions.
That's why you talk to them about it, and you say that, and you make that point of view, and you say, look, Jordan asked me, he wants to do this. If I don't train him, he's going to train himself. And they would probably have come around to the idea and come up with some kind of a compromise that kept Jordan safe and did it by their guidelines. But you did it behind their backs because you suck.
I have 2 teenage boys who think they are grown men.
I might have a better idea than you think.
No, I'm sorry, sir, you weren't around when your children were this age. They raised themselves because you were too busy missing their mother. Now, again, mental health sucks, but you don't get to pull the I'm a parent too card. You frickin' don't. Like, yes, obviously he understands what it's like when suddenly, I guess what he meant is that when suddenly, like, the other partner leaves and you're left in the lurch and you're left all alone, but she is trying to be in her son's lives.
Time for protecting your friend is over. This is a big operation. It is dangerous and people are gonna get hurt. Kyle
She is
Cushing
still
almost
in
died.
danger.
Look, son, I can...
It means he made his choices and now he needs to live with them.
Mom,
It's
if
true.
he could.
It's not your responsibility. Your dad's just gonna have to take care of himself. Okay?
I know, see, Sarah is good and loving, and so she takes on the responsibility, but it's not Lana's fault problem, and it's not your problem. Your dad made his own life choices, and he could be living in a nicer place. And maybe, I don't know what the finances are, maybe he couldn't be living in a bigger place, but he doesn't have to make it be quite the depressing, I'm a divorced dad. The minute you walk in the door, you're like, divorced dad lives here. And I know it's because his mental health's in the toilet, but it's not Lana's problem. Lana was cheated on by this man. It is not her problem. Now, maybe what they should do is sell the house, take half the proceeds each to buy a new place. But, like, it literally is not her problem that he's miserable. It's his fault. I know caring about people, you don't turn it on and off like that. He should have other people in his life. Where are his friends? I mean, okay, yeah, not everyone has that, and that sucks, but it's not Lana's problem because, yeah, right now she seems like she's coping just great. She's doing the mayoral campaign and she's got her kids, but there will be times when she cries herself to sleep because of what's happening. She is also struggling. Again, Sarah's a kid. Sarah loves her parents. Sarah's looking out for her dad because she sees a lot of red flags. I think she's also feeling like, well, I know what it's like to be drowning. It should not be on Sarah's shoulders either. Like, if anything, Lana needs to keep an eye out and kind of see if Sarah is taking on this burden of being her father's like light through the darkness and trying to pull him out and trying to give him more help than she should at her age, to try and help instead.
Talk about your little training sessions.
Mom, you're wrong about this.
Might want to consider a softer touch there, pal.
It's true. You said it yourself. I need to be ready.
He's not your mother,
Jordan's just
Jordan.
being
I
a
am.
dick.
Hello, Candace.
I mean, Jordan, bless him. Jonathan, if their names are Lois and Lana, I constantly call the wrong thing. And now I'm starting doing it with, I used to call everyone Jonathan. Now I'm calling Jonathan Jordan. Who else was he going to be doing this for but his girlfriend? He has no other friends.
We'll let you know if we have any other questions.
I mean, her reason behind doing it is beyond heartbreaking. Okay. But, like, I knew that obviously money was tight. I hadn't quite grasped that her thought. I mean, I assumed her had some kind of medical thing going on. But America's healthcare system is fucked. And the Tories are trying to send the UK to the exact same place. Like, that anyone should struggle for money in general is ridiculous. And when we have billionaires exist and someone else struggles for money makes zero sense. But someone not being able to pay medical bills and struggling, and to the point where a teenage girl thinks, oh, I'm going to become a drug dealer because that will make me money and make her more money than working anywhere else. God, heartbreaking. But also, she should have stepped up when Jonathan was in trouble.
I have super hearing. If we just drive down Old McClellan Road.
Not gonna happen. You have played hero enough for one day.
It's not exactly urgent business. Is it? Am I missing a time-consuming, like we have to go immediately, 4 hours is too long element to this story?
Thing I'd use Superman for.
Jordan's not Superman.
My God, Samuel Lane, leave this house. Like, you don't get to make these decisions. I'm sorry, you don't. Like, yeah, Jordan might do it anyway. Yes, whatever. But you should be helping your daughter right now, not sabotaging her. I'm not aware of a reason why 4 hours would kill everybody in the world. Wait 4 hours. Yes, I do think if there was a genuine, like, life and death situation and John Henry wasn't going to get there in time, or John Henry needed backup and there was nobody else, it might not be the worst idea in the world to send Jonathan. Jordan. It would probably be quite a bad idea to send Jonathan, to be fair, poor thing. To send Jordan. Like, but at the same time, he's a 15-year-old child. He should not be doing this. And Samuel is just driving me up the fucking wall.
I know that, but
Good thing I got my top designer here to help me decorate.
More than you deserve. I mean, it's not. He's been a mostly decent dad, a mostly good dad. Sarah moved straight through the my dad cheated on my mum thing into poor daddy, he needs my help, and it drives me insane. I don't like that he's been guilted into doing this today. Because he loves her, and moving to a healthier way of missing someone isn't a bad thing.
You're gonna be stuck with us for a very long time.
That's very sad. And this grief is never there. He'll cry himself to sleep all the time. And even if he were to fall in love with somebody else and even marry them, he would still die of grief for Lois. That's how life works. No one will know it was you, Candace, but your people are gonna be busted by your boyfriend's entire family.
Don't make me regret it.
She will, if they need your help for anything superhuman,
Closer look, okay?
they will call for you.
The whole operation in here.
we don't need that. Let's go.
You're gonna tell them you're here.
That's not happening.
He's been taking the XK.
Lois Lane.
We need to activate Jordan.
What? No, we are not activating my...
You don't need to phrase it that way. I don't think it would be the worst idea to have Jordan help right now, given the situation. Though every part of me is screaming that it is. But, like, there is no other alternative. Like, at the very least, tell Jordan to get John Henry. I know it's the way his wife died. But, like, activate Jordan. He's not a weapon. He's your grandchild. You can say, we need to say, Jordan, call John Henry. We need help.
Jordan, honey, if you can hear me, we need your help right now. Sweetie, you need to be very, very careful.
She loves him so much.
So you're gonna have to hurry. Jordan, we need your help.
I got you.
I don't like the idea that this is going to make it kind of be like, oh, Lois was wrong. We should have had Jordan be a vigilante this whole time, because I don't agree. My main thing that I'm angry with them for is lying to her and Clark. They should have told her and given her their reasons behind what they were doing. And hell, Jordan could have even pulled the, well, you can't stop me. I mean, Clark probably could, but, you know, that kind of cop then. But I'm going to train them. Then if there's an absolute, like, no other options emergency, use him. In the same way that in season 1, in episode 7 or 8, because I feel like I just edited it for YouTube, when John Henry was first, like, attacking Clark with the red kryptonite, and you had, like, Jonathan and Jordan driving there, and, like, the boys helped the boys save the day. Without them, it would have ended very, very differently. Like, when there is no other option, use Jordan, but it shouldn't just be like, activate Jordan, la 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 la. So I really hope this doesn't end with Lois being like, I was so wrong, you're so ready to be a superhero, off you go by yourself, my son, because, no. But it can be, maybe forbidding it altogether was too far, because I think it was. But I also think if they went behind my back, I would be like, fuck you, no, you're not doing that, son.
Jordan, look out!
If Jordan gets hurt, she will never forgive herself. You can move very, very fast. The danger is that one day it will not be a situation he can handle this easily. Little baby, all growing up. Not quite all grown up, but all growing. She's smiling.
You won?
Big responsibility on your shoulders now. That's so lovely for Sophie to see. And for Sarah. That's lovely. I know, Jordan's not here. To be fair, he has been having some family shenanigans, so you know. It's late.
Looks like Lana won.
I'm gonna go find Sarah.
He might be about to be dumped, which is fair enough. I hope.
Team just
Sounds terrible. I hope she dumps him. Because I don't. I hope they talk about it. They are 15, so I don't think they're going to have like an adult conversation about the problems. But if she's going to do anything with Aubrey, I hope she breaks up with him.
cleared the warehouse.
Then what is it? Because this was an important day for me, and I wanted to share it with
It's a
you.
good conversation to have. But
I
it's just
think
so
I wanna tell
awful
you, but
because he
I
can't.
I can't come second to
Oh
whatever it
dear.
is that's keeping you.
I'm sorry, sweetheart. I feel bad now for wanting her to break up with him, but I
Are you
feel
breaking up with me?
Yes.
it's awful because like he can't
Let's just
tell
talk about
her.
it tomorrow.
Sweetheart. And Clark isn't even here. Like Clark of all people would right now would be able to really I imagine he went through something vaguely similar with Lana. Which is kind of funny when you think about it. I mean Lois can maybe talk about it from the Sarah perspective, but poor baby. Because she did nothing wrong in breaking up with him because he hasn't been putting her first and constantly like, oh, it's just family stuff. Oh, it's just family stuff. Oh, it's just what family stuff? Like she tells him her family stuff. And then obviously he cannot tell her the truth because they're 15.
No excuse to forget your mom.
I
Maybe
think
today, instead of mourning her death,
there's a difference between forgetting somebody
I'm making waffles.
and not focusing on the worst day of their lives. That kind of video is a treasure.
She's perfect, isn't she?
I just have pictures.
Oh my god.
He is so lucky she forgave him this quick.
John, what is it?
Sorry.
Are you okay?
Sorry, yeah. It's
Oh.
just like a weird headache, I think.
A side effect of the extra kryptonite? Or is he getting powers? Because I'd like it to be the second, but I think it's more likely to be a side effect.
You did kind of save your mom's life tonight.
Yeah, I guess.
Hold on. I think that warrants way more enthusiasm.
His first love just broke up with him. I know she's trying to cheer him up, but like I don't think it's gonna be that simple.
But I do want you to know how proud I am of the hero you are becoming.
Still fucking angry. Okay, I wouldn't swear at my chance, Mum. Like, I'm beyond proud of you, but I am still very, very disappointed that you lied to me.
That's not our Jonathan.
Oh my god, is that what he had the zippy zap thing? The zippy zaps was because his other Jonathan came through.
He was too late.
At least, like, you know, I was worrying that I was hoping he'd get powers. I mean, Jonathan's not getting powers, is he? I was worrying it was going to be ex-kryptonite side effects. Genuinely convinced Candace was about to die. Like, there's a part of me that's still convinced next episode, it's going to be like, has anyone seen Candace? She's gone missing. Because the organization was huge, and the people that turned up, like, I'm sure we know he put in a phone call, and the phone call would have been, General Lane and Lois Lane are here. The least bit of investigating, Lois Lane's son is dating one of the drug dealers, and went down for being the drug dealer even though he wasn't. That all comes straight back to Candace. If it was just a small town operation, yeah, they dealt with it, but it isn't. So I am still kind of concerned about that in general. Also mildly concerned that this other Jonathan will have like done something to Jonathan, because what was the significance of he was walking her home, and he was walking her home, turned into them like going on a date, but anyway, he was walking her home and then like they split up, and what is the significance of that? I'm glad it isn't ex-kryptonite side effects, it's just there being two of them side effects. I did notice that in the other world, when we were there, the pictures of the family, it looked like Jonathan had been cut out of all of them. So obviously some shady shit went down there. Jonathan did not cope well with being different. I wonder if from that world he got sucked into the cult, because I was worried that could even happen to him in this world when he was feeling so lost. So yeah, very intense with the other Jonathan appearing at the end. I am really upset for Jordan with him being broken up with, and I'm upset for Sarah because it wasn't like she was breaking up with him because she had moved on. Like I was telling her, like, if you and Aubrey are gonna be more than just friends, make sure that like you break up with Jordan first. And it wasn't even that. It was literally just their relationship was not in a healthy place, and he wasn't putting her first, and he wasn't. And you know, we as the audience know that a lot of that came from him worrying about where his dad was. But as far as they're concerned, his dad's just in the city working on a story. He can, you know, FaceTime him every night. Um, and yeah, there are some family problems to do with this Jonathan and him struggling, but that doesn't maybe take as much time as he's making out it is. And if it was just that, surely he'd talk about it with her. And there are obviously lots of other instances where he just vanishes and he says vague answers about where he was because he cannot tell her the truth. And he can't tell her the truth. I'm very glad that he didn't, you know. If at any point he'd been like, by the way, it's because I'm Superman's son, that's why I did it. You know, you could almost see a heartbroken kid wanting to try and convince the girl he loves that there is a valid reason to spilling the beans and telling her the truth. So I am proud of him that he didn't. I know he kind of has his deal with Clark. But it is a lot. Teenage love is hard to deal with. Love is hard to deal with at every age, but especially at their age. So I feel like it's been coming. And I mean, for one thing, they are 15. Not many people end up with the love they have when they're 15. Some do, but not many do. Then on the other side of it, maybe they'll find their way back to each other. It doesn't have to be goodbye forever. But I think Sarah, as much as we as the audience can be like, well, he has a valid reason for doing what he's doing, she has no way of knowing that. All she sees is a boy not putting her first, and she once saw her parents go through that exact same thing and look where it left them. So she wants better for herself, and I am proud of her for that. I do think it's interesting that they literally just had Sarah forgive her dad overnight. Yeah, obviously the affair was not done with the actual intention of leaving the family, but I think she'd still be a little bit mad at him. And I get that she's kind of like, oh, well, he's so depressed that he needs help. Like, he's a dad. But I still think, like, where did the anger from the quinceañera go? Very proud of Lana, though. She's going to make a brilliant mare, I think. I'm just so stressed with what's happening with the other world and the other Jonathan and where Clark is. Clark was really dumb, just head first through. What was he thinking? Really, really made a dumb choice there. But I'm so excited to see where it goes. This was such a brilliant ending. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon a month in advance, and thank you so much for watching.